A pleasant good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all many followers of the LinkedIn Liberia Live on ELBC 99.9 FM. I am Sammy Connie and I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So today MICAT Press Briefing will be addressed by Mr. Gbotoe, head of WACE Examination Council Liberia, who is expected to share key updates regarding the release of results.
Those in the county level or are equal or short who are joining us to broadcast this conference for the help of our people in the rural area. This afternoon, in the absence of the Minister of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism of the Republic, the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Daniel Sando, who is the acting Minister of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, will come on the national podium and speak with the Liberian people. Also, the government is doing. Mr. Sando will also write from a report who will in the government and state exactly the data. How much as you are like to invite the acting Minister of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, Daniel Sando, Mr. Sando.
That was the voice of the Director of Press and Public Affairs and his acting Assistant Minister for Information Services, Lawrence F. Family Affairs, is named Daniel Otosani, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs. Together, Sean, I would like to say welcome. This is LTV Liberia Live.
It is very pleasing to Mount Information to address the regular of the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. It's a new month, we have a new week filled with optimism and we are grateful that we are here in Gbotoe. We are grateful for our country that has been led very progressively by His Excellency President Gbotoe WACE Senior. We are thankful to the senior management team for the privilege to act in the absence of Minister Jeremy Pia, who is on official duty for Ghana. While in Ghana, Minister Pia is expected to engage his counterpart on some issues. Basically, knowledge sharing. They want to compare notes, and he's due back in the country on the 6th of August. Let me recognize my colleague, Deputy Minister Nat Beijing, and Assistant Minister Rufus Paul, who are here. Our Deputy for Administration, Mr. Johnny Papa, is currently at the Ministerial Complex, making representation on behalf of the ministry. A lot to talk about, a lot is happening, and the MICAT regular press briefing is that premier platform where we speak for the government of Liberia, and we also bring actors from various sectors of the country to speak to you. Today we have two distinguished gentlemen contributing so immensely to the improvement in Liberia's academic sector. We have the Deputy Minister for Administration. And you have the wired boss, Mr. Gbotoe. They're here because of one thing. Our country is going through what I call the challenge of disinformation, misinformation. So you may have heard on the radio, on social media a couple of days now that why are you going to be releasing final results and everything. That information is not true. It's here to provide you the actual information surrounding the releasing of final results by wire, the procedures, and other relevant aspects of the work they do at the WACE Liberia office. So we'd like to, on behalf of the senior management team, welcome the two distinguished gentlemen to the historic Charles Mayon Conference Room here at the Ministry of Information. And so, that is it. But before we listen to them, we normally will have to clear our decks on certain issues. We woke up to the news yesterday that JFK, which is the government referral hospital, has put up a memo that caused a spark outrage in the public. The management of JFK has spoken to that memo. We'll be telling you what they said about it. We're also following developments on the government effort to combat illicit drugs. Of course, there's an ongoing action that is planned for August 7. Citizens will be petitioning the legislature as to what they think the fight against drugs should be led. Of course, it has to be a national call because the drug pandemic is not selective. There are families, there are friends, there are loved ones who have fallen victim to the deadly scourge of illicit drugs. And so the government embraces the idea that citizens will now take matters into their own hands. Because if we as citizens of the country be the ambassadors in our community, there where the ghettos are, it will become ambassadors to take on ourselves that role to say we are going to report anything that resembles the dealing of drugs in our community to the police. Of course, this fight is going to be well enhanced. So this is why the August 7 action is not about the government, it's about our country. It's about the young people. Young people who are falling victim every hour, every minute of the day. So we ourselves, as officials of government, will go be there. Don't forget, Liberia has one of the toughest drug law on the West African continent. So we have to move now beyond the law to go to practical action. That practical action will require each and every one of us, citizens and residents alike, to take on that ambassadorial role, cooperate with the police, and report anything that resembles a ghetto in your community. It is that ghetto that is serving as a breeding ground for the cartel of drug dealers that are destroying the future of our country. So to that effect, a delegation from the ECOWAS Parliament, headed by Orlando Pereira Diaz, who is also a member of the Cape Verde delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament. The delegation is in Liberia. And why are they here? They are here as part of ECOWAS's regional sensitization outreach mission, which is focused on psychiatric substance abuse and mental health. Following the arrival of the delegation, they held a meeting with key stakeholders, including the Ministry of Gender, Health, Youth and Sports, and the Moreover City Corporation. As we speak, that delegation is carrying on some site visits to better understand the scale and impact of substance abuse in Liberia. The main objective for their visit is to engage the Liberian authorities in discussions aimed at harmonizing drug policy across West Africa, as the region grapples with the rising cases of drug addiction and mental health challenges. So they are here, Representative Samuel Innes, who is also part of Liberia's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, is leading that effort. He's working with them closely. Before I left the office, I was somewhere downtown, touring various sites where disadvantaged youth or people who are falling victim to illicit drugs are interacting with them to give me a better understanding of what the situation is in Liberia. So we'll talk about the MOU of what is circulated on social media. And here is what the GFK administration has said. There has been no increase in fees for life-saving surgeries or other essential services at the GFK. And this clarity is intended to clear the air around contrary information that will be circulated on social media and on radio station that the government of Liberia through the GFK administration has issued a memo to increase the fees of essential services at the hospital. The memo in question is the proposal from service provider and remains under review. It has not received any approval from the hospital's administration on board. Unfortunately, individuals with ill intent seeking to damage the reputation of the hospital have chosen to release this intended document prematurely. It has become a trend and go through unfavorable things on social media, on the radio. It has become a trend that it will grab the attention of many persons because people nowadays are more interested in negativity. But over the last 18 months, let me just point you to some of the good things that have happened under the leadership of GFK. Unprecedented improvement in the quality of care, including increased availability of essential medication, upgraded laboratory and surgical services, infrastructure improvement, among many other things. So the simple saying to us that GFK of yesterday is no more. What the last 18 months we improved services. And the long of the short is the memo is also circulating on social media. I was widely talked about between yesterday and today. It's not true. It's not true. And they have said that the administration of the hospital has no intention to increase the fees for essential services. Currently ongoing is the West Africa Logistics Conference. It opens in Liberia today. The government of Liberia, through the Ministry of National Defense and the Armed Forces of Liberia, with support from the U.S. government, through the U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, on today commenced the hosting of a 4-day military conference named the 2025 West Africa Logistics Conference at the Farmington Hotel in MICAT County. The conference, which is a vote of confidence in the government of Liberia, brings together 20 countries, along with the African Union Commission and the ECOWAS Commission. The Liberia Conference is the 3rd edition. The first was held in the Ivory Coast in 2023, and the second was convened in Cameroon in 2024. The West Africa Logistic Conference seeks to welcome A31 model, that is, assess, advise, advocate, and integrate. The model is an assessment tool intended to map out operational capabilities and critical infrastructure about each country military. And this gives a comprehensive understanding of the ability, identity gaps, and challenges. And this will inform decision on how to remedy the gaps and challenges and opportunities for possible investment to build capacity of the military. Most so, the conference angles on 4 directions: capacity building to improve operational readiness of the military. There are significant second and third order effects once the military gets stronger. Improve logistics and operational response, information sharing and networking between partner nations, enhance interoperability among partner nations. The conference outcomes are intended to foster collaboration between partner nations, talk about logistics, and develop tangible outcomes that will enhance partner countries' ability to respond to issues such as terrorism. So the conference is currently ongoing at the Farmington Hotel, and on Thursday we'll bring you further details and updates surrounding that conference. It's a 4-day conference, as a matter of fact. The Central Bank of Liberia's new mobile money standard cash out fee policy is meant to guarantee a competitive pricing within the mobile money markets. Under the new policy, all mobile money providers are required to apply a cash out fee of 2% for withdrawals made through their platforms. Policy takes effect, of course, as of August 1st, 2025. This change is part of Liberia's effort to modernize the way money moves within the market and reduce dependence on physical cash. By engaging electronic payments, the central bank aims to make financial services more accessible, safer, and better suited for today's digital economy. What does the new policy mean for the public? Whether you are withdrawing money through your mobile money wallet or at an agent location, a minimum fee of 2% will apply. Digital payments buying goods, paying bills, sending money remain a convenient and low-cost way to handle daily transaction. While the charge, the CBO is working to standardize cash out fees across all mobile money operators, safeguard agent and customer protection, promote a less cash-reliant economy that reduces the frequency and cost of printing new banknotes, making electronic payment easier and more widely accepted, especially by businesses. Reduce rates and cost linked to handling cash, build a stronger financial system that works for everyone, enhance financial inclusion, and better position the citizenry to save, invest, and access credit in rural areas lacking banking services, improve transaction efficiency for businesses and government operations. The CBO continues to work to promote the adoption and usage of digital payments. The bank is implementing key components of the National Electronic Payment Switch that will enable mobile money transaction between Liberia to mobile money operators, mobile network operators. This incentive will enable all Liberians, regardless of their mobile network provider, to seamlessly send and receive money across mobile wallets. Once implemented, customers will be able to transact across the network in real time, enhancing convenience, accessibility, and financial inclusion. The transaction between the two mobile money operators will also support real-time payment with the government of Liberia to employees, contractors, vendors, and pensioners directly to their mobile money wallets, promoting efficiency, transparency, accountability in public payments. As part of the program to build the capacity of officers of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the UN Office on Drug and Crime has commenced a long-term advanced training of dozens of LDA officers from Bong, Magui, Nima, and Lofa counties. The training is intended to equip the officers with the know-how of international best practices on fighting the proliferation of narcotics in Liberia and making the LDA a force capable of modern and forensic level operations. The training will go beyond detection of narcotics and arrest of traffickers by equipping the officers with techniques on learning how to properly handle, preserve, and analyze seized narcotics across borders. The LTA is having a conference. That conference was opened yesterday, and when I come back to take your questions, we'll provide you some details about the LTA conference that is currently ongoing. It's about roaming. Normally, when you travel outside of Liberia, you are constrained to get a global SIM card to the country that you travel to. Now, the Liberia Telecommunication Authority is working with countries within the ECOWAS region, beginning with our immediate neighbors, Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, so that when we travel from here to the countries, you will now have to face the headache of getting a local SIM card where you can use your Liberian number to make calls at local rate while traveling to other countries. So it's a big step, and which will throw light on. We'll come back to take your questions. These are some of the improvements that have been made across sectors by the government of Liberia just to make life convenience for our citizens. At this point, I will pause and invite the wider boss, Mr. Gbotoe, to the platform So Gbotoe will speak to you, and then we'll follow the routine here, taking questions from the full estate to make a press conference, both inter-party. So, Mr. Gbotoe, you are welcome.
Thank you, Minister. My name is Samuel and I'm of the SMT, Minister Pole. I'm also the fourth estate. Indeed, we ratified in here today to inform you about what we have as it relates to the exams, our minister, operatives here, and when the results will be released. Let me start on my soft note by appreciating the SNT for the level of transformation we see taking place in this place. I was last here in May, and what I'm seeing today, I did not see them when I was here in May. So thank you for the good work and keep it up. I've been done about the white chicken a scenario when you are praised the drum the right or the next day. You want to see more transportation. You trust that you will deliver. So there are some news that is circulating on social media, and some media online are also airing this news that the results for WAEC will be released tomorrow. We actually don't discuss that news, but we have come to tell you that WAEC results in Liberia will not be released tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to plead with the authorities here that we will use this platform to release the results, and people don't need to be speculating here and there. We remain committed to the dates that we have earlier given the government that the results will be released on info next Friday, which will be the 15th of August. But from where we sit, we are pleased to inform you that we will release the result before August 15th. So since the press conference is held twice, Tuesday and Thursday, we want to plead that you afford us the opportunity to use one of those days to release the result using this platform instead of holding this press conference at our office. So we want to assure the public that the results for all the exams that we gave this day, we gave 4 exams, one for the third graders that we call the Liberia National Assessment Test, one for the 6th graders that we call the Liberia Primary School Certificate Exam. Then we have the junior high students and 9th graders, the Liberia Junior High School Certificate Exam, and the West African Senior School Certificate Exam will all be released at once. So we'll be giving all those results either on Tuesday or Thursday. Now, before we release results, we pass the results to the government through the Ministry of Education. So when our attention was drawn yesterday that results will be released tomorrow, we are only giving the result to the government. We pass the result to the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education sends the result to the Office of the Presidency before we make it public, because we don't want to have a symposium where we make a pronouncement. Then the President will be hearing and news from media online. So we get the result. Well, we have not done that. I'm happy that the Cabinet Minister is here, the Minister of Instruction is here this morning, who's also going to address the statement he's making here. So, again, next morning will be the 10th. No, Monday will be the 11th. So, if the Ministry gives on Tuesday, we'll be releasing the results on the 12th of August. If they give us Thursday, we'll be releasing the results on the 14th of August. Where we are about 99% ready to release the results. But as some of you may be aware, last year when we released the results, there were a lot of public outcry. This year we decided that we should do a lot of due diligence because there were some issues for the fee. For those of you who did our exam, you are aware that we use the objective answer sheets and people have to shade on getting answer sheets. But we're interested to know that people at the level of 12th grade, where the machine take the shading for them, they said the machine made a mistake, and they decided to go and shade. All of the spaces are provided. So in such a case, you can just allow the answer sheets to be thrown away. So we have to right the wrong, make sure that those additional marks that were placed on the answer sheets were removed before we could scan them. Maybe some of you may not be aware, but the objective answer sheet, the objective component of the test is marked by machine. And it doesn't take us much time to do the marking once we are using a machine. But if there are a lot of rejects, the machine rejects a lot of the papers, then we have to rectify the errors before we can put into the machine. So one of the things we're going to do going forward is to make sure that we have the answer sheets sent to all of the schools so that they can teach the experience. If the machines place marks on the answer sheets, don't have the machine, don't go and remark the numbers that were not marked, because once you do that, you delay the process of releasing results. So we want for the public to be aware that the results will be released either on Tuesday or Thursday or next week. We also want to
And the
Ministry of Information. No other place but here. So if you hear any other news circulating anywhere, just take it to be fake news. The news, the actual results will be released next week either on Tuesday or Thursday. And before doing that, we are going to send this result to the authority at the Ministry of Education by this weekend, so that we will be better placed to come here either on Tuesday or Thursday to release the results to the public. We also want to inform you that we have a little over 180,000 candidates that took this exam. A little over 180,000 candidates that took this exam. Now, of the 180 candidates, we also want to inform you that the government paid for close to 80,000 of the candidates. A little over 3,000 candidates at the level of 12th grade. The government paid all of the fees for them. And a little over 23,000 candidates at the level of the junior high. Those that are in public schools only, the government also paid for them. So we want to appreciate the government of Liberia for the payment made thus far. If government had not paid us, we won't have been in the position to be able to release the result at the time we are going to release the result. Then we can stop there and maybe the Deputy Minister can come and add into the information. Then we can take the question. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sano and members of the Senior Management Media. I am happy that I can stand before you this time. And I also want to join our colleagues to thank you for this benefit. For the past 2-3 months, I have not been able to understand education. So I want to say thank you so much. My name is Ebos Amafore, the Deputy Minister for Instruction and the Minister of Education. And also serve as the Chief Government nominee for WACE Liberia. We work at and also the second vice for WACE with 5 West African countries, and I'm responsible for WACE. As the HNO said, we will not do anything in this government to bring any embarrassment to our people. We will not do anything that will come here to mislead the public.
Make sure you speak to the man.
As I said, we are working this government to give people factual information, especially when it comes to education in this country. As the HNO said, we have not released any result. Wherever we are getting the result from, it could be, maybe, from the other 4 African countries. As you may be aware that there are 5 West Africans speaking English that are responsible for WACE: Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, and Liberia. And all auto the test at the same time, but the result will not come out at the same time. So in Nigeria, if you did your research, you only give one test to 12th grade, unless Nigeria will give test 10, 6, 9, and 12th grade. So we have come to inform the public that the result for 2024-2025 for WACE will be released on the 15th, on or before the 15th, as the patient was saying. And we just want to make the public to understand, especially those of you that are working at media, that this information that we are getting, I got it yesterday, and the minister asked me to find out who are those that are spreading the news. And I told the minister, I said, Minister, you will hear the news. And not everybody will talk to you about this administration. But as we stand, we will always be here to inform you and make sure what we are telling you is true. So before much ado, we stand by so that we can listen to you. If you have any question, and we'll be here to answer. Thank you.
We listen to our students very well. Even the acting minister, please come in the queue. Introduce yourself, and you can ask questions related to the subject of the discussion. Please be in the queue. Please come forward.
Thank you. My name is Stephen. I was in a for the Liberia News Agency. My question is directed to Minister Sano, Deputy Minister Sano. We are concerned that information circulating regarding some holdings in the country. Firstly, the issue about the CDC invasion. There are a lot of Liberians will be concerned as to where is the situation, because the pool has moved, and they are also waiting to see whether the government of Liberia, through the Liberia National Police, going to adhere to the action of the court. And another issue could be, there are also the issue of information about the dismissal of the MTV boss. Do you have anything to say regarding that, whether the information circulated is actually true or not? And in recent time on the
One question. Sorry.
and in recent time, one of your colleagues, one of the commissioners at the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, was criticized for flashing cash in one of an open occasion, and this has been criticized. You as a government official, what do you also have to say in regards to that? Is it in line with the arrest agenda as a government comes to making sure that many of these things that were done in the past cannot be considered as correct?
My name is the report from the newspaper. My question goes to Mr. Sami. The memo just read out here concerning GFA denying that the custom fees in custom on the system is for. Then I want to know all people want to know what's the actual fees again those to us as services for our facilities.
My name is Joseph Salif and I report for ABC Radio. My first question goes to Minister Daniel Samuel. Mr. Minister, during the President's first State of the Nation address, he declared jobs as a national emergency. And since then, it's 1 year into this administration, you came up here and you said that you guys endorsed the upcoming protest. Are you endorsing the protest, or don't you think the government should be putting into place those regulatory framework or supporting the LGA to fight jobs? Because endorsing is one, but the practical expressions of policy is another thing. Thank you. And to the white boss, There was this situation around the Nashville area or school that St. Lutheran. There was this situation of a kid that they were carrying and they fought according to information, the kid fell from the building. I want to know, was WAEC greeted with that situation? If yes, would there be any punitive measures against the institution? Thank you.
My name is Gbotoe, and I wanted to multimedia hub, and of course I wanted to firstly start my question with the live boss. Mr. Gbotoe, you happen to be one, it seems to be you are one of the long-serving, boss of WAEC. And Mr. Gbotoe, if you agree with me, the world has gone digital. I was much smaller when we started working WAEC on the analog system. This is a digital age. What is your own take about making the children now, not just to be looking at people, but they do something digital? And so my next question goes to the Ministry of Education. Mr. Gbotoe has said that the test coming up before the 15th, but you came a little bit fluctuate from the information, and this is a public, platform. Are you disagreeing with Mr. Gbotoe? And lastly, to
Gbotoe said the result will be released before the 15th. So he pleaded with us for 2 days. Either on Tuesday, which is the 12th, or Thursday, which will be the 15th. Is it not before the 15th?
I don't want to give an example. So, Minister, thank you.
Can we have a quiet back there?
During the day of the Enough is Enough protest, Minister Pia told us that prior to the protest, the protester and the government went into an agreement that even if a chicken air is bought or is being destroyed within Liberia, these people are going to be responsible for it. In that presentation, he displayed a video. There was a car, being destroyed, and the Liberian people have not heard about this investigation. What is the outcome of that? Thank you.
My name is Joseph Fekula, and I report for KPFM and TV. Mr. Gbotoe, during the climax of the WAEC, there were 6 persons who were arrested due to collusion. You take them over to the Liberia National Police. Can they bring us up to speed as a related to that case? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Desmond Moyo, and I report for Democracy Watch. Let me begin with the WAEC boss. Thanks to Khaled, we spoke a little while, but there is this, unanswered question. The other day you visited here, asking that question on purpose, and you didn't answer, whatever reason there's no, but let me ask the question again. In an event, students going for WAEC, especially some of the plotters or the examiners, have their own disciplinary function in terms of the way they go about disciplining the students who be caught in violations. Several complaints have raised by Liberian students that when these examiners or these plotters, during the time of administering these tests, some of them, they would arbitrarily take your paper, they would just take your paper and disqualify you. And at the final analysis, when the results are released, these people or these students are yet to get a result, only because that serious number have not been given to them, because the plotters back then confiscated their papers, and these people are yet to get that. And it is on a repetition scale. Every time these things keep happening. I don't know how your office is intending to address this kind of concerns where students will be arbitrarily denied of the test. And at the final analysis, they will be left in a space of confusion without knowing how or when will they receive or get their result. And to the education, or let's say the Minister of Education, the Minister for Instruction. Recently, the Ministry of Education also released a memo about, general and vast applications for volunteer, and not volunteer specifically, but desirous teachers to apply so that these schools around can be well capacitated with qualified teachers. But we are a bit concerned in the media, and especially the Liberian people, when there is an excessive number of huge quantity of volunteer teachers wherein these people are yet to be on government payroll, but the ministry is still, the ministry, but they are already there, they're teaching. The ministry acknowledge the fact that they are there voluntarily teaching. Instead of them going back to reapply, why don't you just do a segmental recruitment for these people who are already voluntarily teaching as going to apply from the onset? And the last concern to the government spokesperson, the government spokesperson, you have publicly acknowledged the protests of the drugs, and we are more concerned about policy reform. Okay. I am a witness, and several people in there during the previous administration honored for excellency by Ellen Joseph Sirleaf. We saw Liberians, they took the street to protest for rape, creating an awareness on rape, and just barely after that protest, it was a major factor for an increment in the rape cases across Liberia. We saw that after the protest, many rape cases were all reported in the 15 counties. Similarly, the anti-corruption saga, Liberians took the street again to protest in a peaceful march on the issue of corruption in government under the same Ellen Joseph Sirleaf administration. Right after that protest again, we saw a rampant increment of corruption. I said that the government is more interested in terms of when these people come out to protest, and right after the protest, it can be described as ceremonial display of showmanship, and nothing is more done in terms of policy reform. That is something that Liberians are more interested in. And the last concern is the ministry of the government through the office of the president issued an executive order on the issue of processed rubber. The executive issue an executive order on the processed rubber that talks about no rubber should leave the country without being processed. But then Firestone, which is also a major industrial company that is squarely involved into the issue of rubber transactions and exploitation. If for any reason that policy is going to take squarely effect with Firestone, then I'm very confused. The executive order, we all know that the question lasts for 1 hour or 1 year, and Firestone is into an agreement with the government for over close to around 25 years. So how do the executive order in any way going to undo the agreement with Firestone that was legislated by the House of Representatives? Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's start with Mr. Sirleaf's question. Mr. Sirleaf, I'm already talking about camping taking place as submitted with Mr. Sirleaf. Submitted with yeah, Joseph Sirleaf, yeah? He said camping took place as submitted with camping is against our regulation. And thank you for flagging this thing because it has not been brought to our attention. But I'm shocked by hearing that he said Kennedy caught wounded for that incident. Okay. But why is it that no one, all the media constitution, why is it we are just hearing that no one has brought this to our attention. But one thing I can say is that if that incident had occurred at the center, we're going to be a big news. I'm just hearing that camping took place. We'll investigate this and then we'll take the appropriate action. Napoleon talks about digital testing. We are fully on board, Napoleon. There's a famous saying that if you want to win a battle, you cannot use yesterday's weapons to fight today's warfare. Isn't so? For us to believe in digital transformation, we also think that you cannot use yesterday's tools to teach the future generation. And we cannot use yesterday's tools to teach those who will be the future leaders. So we do agree with you. And going forward, I'm happy about the leadership at the Ministry of Education. Going forward, the next exam, we will be introducing computer-based testing on the exam. We are going to start with the public schools. I'm happy the Deputy Minister is here. The government has indicated to us that the 156 schools are equipped. And recently we were in Nima and Hong County and we saw 2 other schools being dedicated by the president. And those schools are also well equipped. So once the schools have the infrastructure in place for digital testing, we can assure you that beginning next year, we will now begin to use computer to do the test. Our own concern is that in order for someone to use computer to solve a math problem, you must be able to use the same computer to do a regular testing in school. So when you do the first period test, you do the second period test, you must use computer to answer these questions. If the child is not exposed to computer to do tests, and you take him on the public exam, say if you use computer, that will be a recipe for failure. We are also taking on using other captures. Maybe we will use tablet for the candidates to answer the question. So within this administration, you know that education is one of the pillars of this government. We can assure you that before the first 6 years, all schools will come on board and we will move away from the traditional mode of testing. We know that it will be challenging, and when it comes to some area, it's completely move away from the traditional mode of using pen and paper. Or why we're going to do this, we're going to actually phase that out. So the schools that have the instruction will give them the opportunity to use tablets, use computer to do the test, and it will be cost saving for us because the time will take to take test questions through the level and breadth of this country. We will then remain in our office and have the test contents available just at the click. So we are on board, and beginning next year you will see us using a combination of both traditional and computer-based testing. Mr. Kakula, you talked about people being arrested. Yes, people were arrested. You talked about 6. We had 106. We had close to 100 persons that were arrested. We are not talking about students. We're talking about adults who were aiding and abetting examination malpractice. At one of the centers, just imagine, one of the teachers took upon himself to be a student, whereas he was not a student. And he was not sitting with the regular students. He sat in his office and we were taking the test question to him in his office. He was answering the test question, and then we were putting it back. But you know what? The interesting thing, even the test, the ones that we have seen, none of the schools have passed 10. So I don't know why he's actually teaching in a school. But because these matters, the police has completed our investigation and these matters are before the court. We will not say much about these cases until we can reach the logical conclusion. Let's not talk about the reputation of people disqualifying students. No one has the authority to disqualify a child. Even if the child was caught cheating, our procedure is that take note, notify us, and allow that child to continue with the test. Now, if it has been seen that it's habitual for people to be disqualifying students, all we need to do is to report it, bring it to our attention, because if that is now brought to our attention, probably you have evidences, right? If that is not brought to our attention, as far as we are concerned, maybe the portal will be reporting that our child was absent. And because we did not see that child's paper, which will conclude that our child is absent. So our policy does not allow anyone to disqualify a child. Even if a child told me to fight you should not disqualify him. Report the case and allow the child to continue with his test. So we are surprised that this thing is going to our test more going forward. Don't wait for the entire test to be over before you raise this issue. There's a famous saying that when the soup is hot at times, that the person will figure out while the incident is taking place, alert us and then we'll take the appropriate action. We are sorry for those who may have been affected in the past because they were disqualified, but no one brought that to our attention. This is our first time hearing. This is said you raised the issue the last time, or maybe we did not almost saying it the way we have honestly it. Thank you very much.
Okay, somebody once said that I said the test result will be coming on or before the 15th. So let me be clear. But let me just say something quickly. The module test we talked about, or those that are sending their application, it started yesterday, the 4th of August 2025. For the boarding school that we built in Maigili, Nima, and Bon County. Those volunteers that you're talking about, yes, I agree with you, we got some qualified guys that we will be using in those schools. But we do not have the manpower for the 3 schools. Because each of the schools have 15 classrooms from 10-1 to 10-5, the same thing with 11 to 12 grade. So you will literally about 1,000 plus students. But we will not be receiving or recruiting students for all of the classes. We are going to start with 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for now. And the announcement is saying that one people in special area, mathematics, language, chemistry, physics, biology, and what have you. Up to present, the report that came before my desk this morning, we have 19%. We are not getting anybody that apply for mathematics. So it's a serious problem. Need of physics. And these are things that we have to join the other West African country. In fact, by the way of information, you did the Asian rule, and I tell you, it is only that we have been doing that subject. The rest of the other 4 countries, it do more than 50, 65 in Nigeria. So we are anticipating adding extra 31 subject to the 9, making it 40 for Liberia. Now, I'm just saying that this one we stand to do. It might not go to all of the school. It's a pilot project we'll be doing. In the past, people told national exam in this country, including myself, we're talking for a day. Some of you that are living when you buy. One day we protest in this country. National exams. Nigeria is doing something 5. Serbia something that's 60. Ghana 45. You know, under Liberia we doing 9. So we are thinking about adding extra 30 subjects to the 40. So another thing I want to say before I take my seat. Those that are cheating on the exam, I do not want to hold the student responsible, but the very guy that was sent to monitor these guys, they are the one that causing the problem. While with administrators sit in the class, a principal call for the booklet, you answer the test and send it also for the student to do. Why have you done within 10 months that you want to do within a few hours? So those that were caught in our eye, we will deal with them according to the educational law. Thank you.
So as I was saying before, to consider to allow the 2 guests to present, the LTA is hosting telecom regulators from Sierra Leone and Ivory Coast, and they are doing so at the they started yesterday, and our conference will accumulate into the launch of free roaming services between Liberia and Sierra Leone. Signing of the memorandum of understanding between the LTA, the Ivorian regulator, and the mobile operators of the two countries. The MOU will lead to the launch of free roaming services between Liberia and Cote d'Ivoire before December of this year. The initiative brings an end to exorbitant mobile charges across borders and sets a new standard for affordable mobility and regional connectivity. It allows Liberians traveling in Sierra Leone and other ECOWAS countries to make and receive calls at domestic rates. Just like people leaving and coming to other countries without needing to swap SIM cards or worry about high roaming fees. Incoming calls are now completely free for up to 30 days, and outgoing calls are charged at local prices. So initially when you leave, you go to other countries. If you have money on your phone and your phone won't ring me, you pay $1 per minute. But when you come into force of this memorandum of understanding, we receive call free of charge because of this. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I see all of the envy against my friend Patrick Owen. So there's one guy who acts government. See, how does the executive order undo fasting? So the executive order is simply telling those who are involved with the raw business that you cannot ship or export unprocessed rubber from Liberia. What the executive order seeks to do is to create a value chain. That when you tap the rubber from the farm, before you take it out of Liberia, there has to be some level of value added to that product. You can't carry unprocessed rubber. So whether you got 25 year or 9 year agreement with the government of Liberia, this executive order compels you not to transport or export unprocessed rubber out of Liberia. So of course, if your concern is whether fashion is also obligated, yes they are not. There's no exemption to the law. Okay. I heard you say that in town people protest about things. Well, we have a wrong concept. Why would be taking place on the service of a protest?
It's not a protest about us.
So, it's not you said it was a protest. There are people listening. It's not a protest. Mothers, sisters, fathers, brothers have seen the need to rise up and stand up against narcotic substances that are destroying their children. I am no exception. You are no exception. It's not about the government. I just told you here that Liberia has one of the toughest drug laws in West Africa. Why is it that drug is still permitted in our country? Haven't you seen a video of Michael who go, all the guys are buying dry meat and they stop, they push in their bags and they DA arrested to the border, they have to be shaking the bag and they see push falling out of it? Haven't you seen that video? They are murders. But they are involved into the sale, distribution of illegal substances that poses an existential threat to the youthful population of our country. When you go in the street downtown, across every country in the county in this country, the people who you see roaming the street, talking, walking like zombies and what have you, they are young people. So it's not about the government. The government is doing her part, but the community has to get involved. Because the ghettos are in the communities. Even the churches, the mosques, we all have to get involved. Because the family values is at the brink of extinction. If you are a pastor, you are a man, and you think that this thing about drug is for the government, it's not for the government. Yeah. I just read to you that the government is creating avenue to equip the Liberia Justice Enforcement Agency, giving them advanced training. But even as that, the community has to get involved. So why do we endorse it? Because it complements the effort of the government. It complements. Don't forget, the state has to play a parental role. So if young citizens are at risk, the future is being destroyed. And the citizens will come in to help the government to do it. The government will not endorse it. Who will endorse it? Yes, I'm an official government, but I'm a family man. The thing is that having protest, march for jobs, I will go say, oh, I'm only doing well. We'll all go there. Go there in solidarity. While the government is creating avenue to rehabilitate, and talking about rehabilitation, Senator Dillon is doing a screaming work. The rehab sector that is organized has helped a lot of young people. We are hoping that others in their own capacity can begin to do similar things. Do on a low scale, but it's very impactful. So we have all reason to do it, to endorse the protest and the march. We'll be there, we'll give them the moral support that they need, because it concerns everybody. Mopolo, yes, Minister Pierre announced that those who organized whatever it was on July 17th, that if anything goes wrong, they will be held accountable. I held that conversation with the Inspector General of Police, and all of the discussion that was reported on the 17th of July, people will be held accountable. I specifically asked the Inspector General of Police. Because one way we can also deter violent activities is when somebody comes to the authority and say, I want to hold a march and everything. You have to take responsibility for what happens afterward. So those who organized whatever it was on July 17, they will be held accountable for the violent actions that occur on that day. And we say yes when they begin also say they want to do this, we have a government. And so government will have a duty to safeguard the public space. Joseph Salim and Desmond asked the same question. The government endorsed the protest. What will the government do after the protest? Of course, the government is doing a lot to fight drugs. Doing a lot. The high-profile arrests of individuals who are involved with the importation and distribution of drugs is unprecedented. The government has won landmark cases. You know, the fellow called Japan, who was running a cartel somewhere across the bridge, how he was not by the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency remains a mystery. Very professional job they did. They compiled the evidence. They didn't do it arbitrarily. They went to the court and the state had a conviction. Today, he's behind bars. But is that all the government can do? No. Putting the law in place, arresting people, and they are found guilty, put in jail, cannot be the end game for our fight against drugs. We have to be more proactive by creating more sensitization to the young people. It's about time, and I'm happy that the task force that was set up by the president is working closely with various sectors across. Naturally, the education sector is a low exception. It's about time that we begin to go to the schools to tell our children, demonstrate on billboards, on blackboards, chalkboard in the classroom, to tell our children. It's about time that we begin to inspect the book bags when they are going to school. Because those who are selling the kush, they have no conscience. They have no conscience. There are instances where students go to school, they escape classes, and they join bad friends, and they spend the rest of the day in the ghetto. We have to begin to put into place measures that will just prevent a child who leaves the house in the morning leaving the school. Because when the child leaves the house in the morning to go to school, he should be there. If he is not there, his parents should be contacted. Why is he not there? But that will be able to protect them. We need to be more protective because it's very terrible. The colleague from Women Voices asks that in the wake of the clarity from the John F. Kennedy Medical Center, what is
What is a new cost for essential services? Well, I don't work with JFK. But what they have told you is that what was being circulated is that true. The issue, the press statement that I referred, and I did my best by reading to you in part what they said. So the fact that they said there's no change in the price, it is sufficient to suggest to you that the prices there remain the same. So if you want to find out, maybe you guys, you better go there, so you can find out more of the press. So still Roberts asks issue of Patrick now. And it's very concerning. It's very concerning because I think this trend of trying to make others appear like they don't deserve to be themselves is wrong. It's wrong. There are two young people in the government that have been targeted. If it is not the MBA boss, it is Patrick now. When you do that, then it becomes personal. It becomes personal because these two individuals are making tremendous progress in their two sectors. They go Freeport is running for 24 hours. Renovation work across other posts in the country is ongoing. LTA is working to ensure that mobile network services is more affordable to Liberians. But the idea that we want to make everything about politics in our country is wrong. And at the Ministry of Information, we said that campaign ended since December 2023. We turn a new page as a country. We have a new administration. When the force of the political will talk, this is what the Ministry of Information, what they're using the crowd to talk about opposition. We come here, we won't focus on the progress the government is making, which is key for us. Which is key for us. Those who say they want to come back from setback, it is their choice. I don't see how you can come back from setback when you can't pay your rent. It's a problem for you. So the MBA boss has not been dismissed. That information that was also circulated by some of our friends yesterday is untrue. I think this is the Ministry of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism. Every day we encounter the culture troop here, they come here, they dance, and we give them money. I was at an event and I saw everything that happened there. The $700 they got it that somebody gave back, they want to give culture troop or the musician. Yeah, or somebody in their best say, oh, the man is splashing cash across the day. You don't know the denomination of money they got to go $50 they got it. So we are public officials. The young people are challenged. Every day our offices come in contact with people who are challenged. Do we take pride in it to say, oh, a public official, don't come to me? No. You have to be receptive. Be receptive. So if young comrades come to you, they try battle cry, they sing, and you talk about something for your public to give to them, somebody say, oh, the man is flaunting his worth. What is it worth? $700, what is it? Even some of the generals say, oh, they lost money, $700, what is it? You got to make Desmond. Desmond went downtown, maybe I tell that food you will eat. The other man who made boss, everyone is a very big people. You just spend more money than that on lunch, breakfast. If somebody gives somebody who's singing, playing band, in a ceremony, what they say invest, why do they have to do it everything? We can mix politics with everything. And besides that event took place on a Sunday. Why must be stressing himself on the Lord's day? You bet why somebody gives somebody their own money. For me, it's not an issue.
The Ministry of Information will continue to be friends with the media. Nobody's going to make up the terrorists in media. The online platform that did the video and posted it, I believe they committed no wrong. Because they were doing their job. Those who chose to get angry because they saw somebody being benevolent, giving people money, why would I win the vest? But we have to be able to say, this is not a country that we want. This is not a country that we want. That if Stephen Robert has something to afford, he cannot stretch a hand because somebody will criticize him for giving. No, most of us here are Christian. What does the Bible say about giving? Are we not encouraged to give?
The more you give, the more you receive.
The more you give, the more you receive. And then somebody is developing high blood pressure as a result of the goodwill of another person. Let us be mindful. Let's be mindful. As I have repeatedly indicated, there's no vacancy for the Liberian presidency. When that time comes, NEC will declare the vacancy. They will announce the time bound for election. You can't live your life in the next 6 years anticipating election every day. It's unhealthy for you. It's unhealthy. The same way they were in power, they were looking at 2023 and 2023 and came and passed over them. The same way 2029 will come pass over you. Because they will have a lot of things mixed up. We have a duty. What they will not do is what we are doing. And we will do it with the best of our ability. Good thing that the president has told us. As officials of government, do not focus on the next election. Do the work. Your work will justify your inclusion. That's what we're doing. But this thing about just daydreaming that tomorrow will be 2029, we're going to the election. And by the way, who told you election can you defeat anybody? You don't want to defeat anybody. Oh, Liberians gave to the country for 6 years. Say, come and manage it. If you're not singing song, you're playing football. Today, I woke up this morning from President Sali. She's serving on a high panel in Ghana. She's speaking. Everywhere around the world, former president gets himself busy with something important. The other young man play street soccer. When election comes in, they will give you the country. Don't you think the country deserves better? Don't you think this country deserves better? From being a laughing stock to an oasis of attraction in the international community, now on the UN Security Council, on par with our payment in ECOWAS, we now qualify to host the ECOWAS Youth and Sport Development Center. The Liberia Youth Entrepreneurship Bank is being launched to empower young people. Ministry of Information, revitalized, very vibrant. They go to the southeast, fly where you have the rainy season. Government hospitals never run short with drugs. Things that you cannot do, we're doing it. And all you do is to make noise, get vexed and say, oh, it's completely unbiased. So the last question, Stephen, whether the government will enforce the real possession. Of course, we have a duty. Nobody's above the law. The other day I said here that if anybody violates the law, they'll be apprehended. Nobody's above the law. There are precedent cases. Unity Party or former ruling party, they will not pay the rent. Did they clinch under the McLean property? No. The honorable thing to do is to leave the property overnight. If you don't do so, small sheep better than big sheep. Maybe before jailbreak and say, well, the people live in the place. But the people have rule. A better man not see you living there, or you'll be living, show you on the road and everything. So the government, if it comes to a point where the court grants the right of possession, of course, we have the determination to enforce the law to the letter. Not being discriminatory, not being selective. So yes, to the illegal tenants, the rate will be enforced. And then you go to more setback. Thank you.
So that's it for the press briefing. That's it for the press briefing at the College of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism. So for the MICAT Press Briefing was introduced by Mr. Gbotoe, head of WACE Liberia. Mr. Gbotoe spoke on key updates regarding the release of results from the recent concluded West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination, which are scheduled to be officially announced on Wednesday, August 6, 2025. So for those of you who have been following, I'd like to say thanks for